When you look at where Karl Kani is right now, internationally, do you think you're just as big as you were revenue-wise in the U.S., bigger?
I would say the combination of the two, Japan and Europe, we're about where we are in the U.S., but we have a lot of work to do here. There's no doubt about it. We just started back a year and a half ago, and we got to be really smart about what we're doing. And
So you started back a year and a half ago. So
Yeah.
that means that you stopped production for a while?
oh, for the U.S., yeah,
Oh, yeah, for the U.S. So you
Yeah.
completely stopped.
yeah, completely stopped.
Okay, so you basically realized people are not drawn to it in the same way.
I didn't want to do it.
You didn't want to do it.
No, I didn't want to do it.
Why?
I just wasn't motivated. I
Okay.
just didn't like the amount of effort that's being put into what we were getting back in return. It sucks your energy. Do you know what I mean? It really does. Like, we weren't used to doing business this way. We were used to design a collection. You go to your stores, they buy your full collection, you put it out there, you market your product, you do fashion shows at Macy's, the stuff we were doing, and the game changed. The brands, the buyers are moving in a different direction. It was a lot of, they want a little bit of this, they want a little bit of that. The buyers didn't even know what they wanted. And buyers kept changing rapidly. That means business wasn't good, because when buyers get fired, that means business is not good for these particular stores.
Right.
So retail kind of sucked. Then you have this online surge of online stores. Then you got H&M, you got Zara. You got a lot of other factors that came into play that didn't exist before. So you got to kind of find your sweet spot in this business now. So it took us a moment to really step back, realize what we want to do. Now we're ready to come back on attack mode, because, you know, we understand that we want to win the war, and it's okay, we can keep fighting these battles, but at the end of the day, we want to win the war.
But have you seen a brand that's sort of shut down in the U.S. and then made a comeback?
Nope.
Because you see what I'm saying? You don't usually see that. You've seen brands that maintain.
Yep.
Sometimes there's, you know, I mean, like, I remember in the 90s how hot, you know, the early 90s, like, Guess was just a red hot brand.
Yep.
You know, I remember when the Guess overalls were like the shit.
Yep.
Right? I remember when Girbaud jeans were everything.
Yeah.
Everything in hip hop. You know, rappers would talk about it, you know, and so forth. These brands are still around, but they never stopped.
Right.
You know, they still kept some sort of core, they still kept some sort of base. When you you know, but I haven't seen any brands that stop and come back.
Yeah.
You know, maybe on a small scale, but not significantly.
Right.
Like I said, like I've seen some cross-color stuff recently, but I don't know what type of numbers they're doing. I
Right.
assume not that huge.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is your question?
Well, I mean, how do you prepare to do it when you really haven't seen people do it?
Well, you know, that's one thing that we have no worries on that whatsoever, on how we're gonna penetrate the market. So the one thing that we do have that no one could ever dispute ever in life, that we're number one, we're the originator. There's no other brand in life, and I dare someone to name them, that could ever say, we were here before Karl Kani. We started streetwear before Karl Kani. We had the idea that we want to dress hip-hop artists and be loyal and focused on an urban market who no one's paying attention to. We want to be that brand that's going to say, we are you, you are us. And Kani, my name, means everything. It's a question that I used to ask myself. Can I do this? Can I come from the inner city and achieve these goals and become a worldwide international designer? Kani is more of a feeling and a message that was being spread. Guys, you talk to any guys in hip hop, they say, man, when you put on Kani's shirt back in the days, we felt like money. We felt like success. We felt something wearing this brand.
Yeah.
And it's legit. You know, no one else could say that. No other brand gave that person that feeling. Yeah, there was other brands that came out that was successful, of course. A lot of them made a lot of money. Good for them. But you know what? They weren't the original. And I dare anyone to ever say, Karl came after me, or no, Karl did this, or no, just not real. And when you're legit and you're real and people do the research, they know what's real. So it's a matter now of us as a company doing the things that we need to do as a company to gain back our market share that we once walked away from. And I'm glad we walked away from it. I'll tell you another big reason why. You ask a lot of kids today, sometimes young kids, a lot of them heard of FUBU, they heard about Fat Farm, they heard about Sean John. Some of them didn't even hear about Karl Kani.
Right.
They're like, oh. You know why? We weren't here when that ship sunk. We weren't here.
You closed the shop before all that.
Yeah, we weren't here when that ship sunk. And I knew it would come eventually, because you had everybody and their mother doing a clothing line and called it a designer brand. You had barbers, every athlete, everybody was doing a clothing brand. You put an ad in Source magazine, you're an urban designer.
Right.
You put one ad, all of a sudden I got a clothing brand. That's not legit. That's not real. And after a while, the kids caught on to that. Man, this is a money play. I ain't wearing that. I'm not doing this anymore.
Well, it's always been interesting, hip hop's role in clothing brands. Like, for example, I've never heard of Tommy Hilfiger until that Grand Poobah line.
Yep.
When he said Jabot's hanging baggy, Tommy Hilfiger tap gear. And it's like, what?
What is
that
that?
sounds fly. Like Tommy Hilfiger tap gear. Like, what is that? And Tommy Hilfiger got launched off that.
Yep.
By the way, have you heard the rumor that Tommy Hilfiger had said that he didn't want black people wearing his clothes?
I've heard that rumor. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. I don't think he'd be that stupid to say that. Like, maybe it was a question that was asked for him. He didn't answer it the right way, but I just don't think he would be that stupid to say something as blatant as that and expect to be in business.
Right.
Just don't find that.
And it was interesting. It was interesting because I interviewed Migos at one point, and Versace has always been a brand that people liked, but when the song came out, suddenly you saw a massive resurgence in Versace.
Yep.
To the point where people started making Versace necklaces that Versace didn't even make. Like
Right.
they were custom making Versace emblems.
Yeah.
And everyone was fucking with Versace. And when I asked Migos if Versace was trying to do any business with them, and they said no. I think I remember y'all mentioned in an interview that the Versace company never reached out to y'all.
They did, but they weren't talking about, you know what I'm saying? They weren't talking about what we wanted to hear.
Okay, what were they talking about exactly?
They weren't talking about nothing.
Why do you think that these brands, because you built your business on embracing rappers.
Yep.
But I feel like these brands in general do not embrace rappers.
They don't, and I'll speak to you about the Migos, who are really good friends of mine, Quavo and Offset and all those guys, and they helped launch my shit when I came back out. We met, and they were, Karl, we want to rock your stuff, and you look at Migos all last year and all their videos, they had on Karl Kani.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I must
Look
have
at all
missed
their videos, they had on Karl Kani. So they understand what's going on. They understand the originator, and trust me, the Migos, they could have rocked any brand they wanted to rock. And people would have gave it to them for free. But guess what? They wanted to rock Kani out of love, with no paid endorsement. They wanted to wear it. And that's what I'm saying, like, we stand in a different boat than anybody else. Like, when you originate something, it comes with respect.
Right.
And longevity, because it's just real and it's legit. You're not phony, you're not fly by night. And let's see how many of those other brands from the 90s could try to resurface again. See how that works.
I mean, when you look at all the other urban brands, which of those do you feel was the most impressive from your eyes?
I think a lot of those guys did a great job. I think that anyone to even be in this business and do over 10, 20, $30 million a year it's a tough business to be in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think as a group, they all tried to uphold what they were trying to do. So, I guess the question is how many people are willing to do it again? How many people still own their intellectual property that's willing to move forward? I know for Karl Kani that I own my brand 100%. You know what I mean? So I could speak for myself. Everybody else gotta, figure out their game plan on what they want to do with their brands. But I figure the doors are open, and it's just about how they plan on coming back with their stuff.
Sure.
It's really up to them.
Now, what's your connection with Rihanna?
Oh, Rihanna's just cool. We dressed her for a couple things. Love her new CD. She's from the islands. She
Right.
wore one of my ski masks on a flight she was coming on. Last year we got a lot of press out of that. She was coming through the airport. She had on my ski mask, and a fan wanted to take a picture with her, and she took the ski mask and held it up in front of her face. He said, "Kani there." Fan sitting there, he was happy. Gave us a lot of press. So, I think that was major legit, and hopefully we could work with her again in the future, for sure.